All of that work was needed just to blink a measly LED. And this whole process requires a laptop, a programming software, all of this code, and this cable with the connector that puts me to shame. But what if I could simplify everything by cutting out the laptop entirely and just using my voice to program this small computer?
0, 1.
Now, before you really hurt my feelings with a comment like, "Hey stupid doo-doo head, we can already talk to computers, and I can make my AI girlfriend meow for me on demand."
Go ahead and meow for me, baby.
Meow, there you go.
I can't, no.
First, allow me to clarify my goal here. And second, your AI girlfriend is just a program like Minecraft or Barbie Explorer that's already installed and running on a computer. What I want to do is upload a program itself onto this Arduino just by speaking to it. Essentially, I am become laptop employer of words. Now to do this, I'm gonna need a lot of things, like a microphone, an Arduino, and now that I've got everything, I can't just hook the mic up to this bad boy and expect to have a conversation.
Hi, how are you?
We speak different languages. The main problem here is that computers speak in a language called binary, and humans speak in a language called English. Binary is just like French or German, except it's not at all, and the entire language only consists of 2 characters, a 1 and a 0. Now, 2 numbers may not seem like much to communicate with, but like a 1950s husband who came home to a cold dinner, binary uses sheer overwhelming force to get the point across. But just how are 1's and zilches, also known as bits, capable of creating all of this? Well, imagine somebody puts 8 bits into a drawer with specific values in a specific order. Then along comes a drawer inspector who doubles as a drawer inspector and looks at the bits inside. Then this inspector executes an action like jumping or breakdancing based on the value of those bits. Now imagine a billion drawers with a drawer inspector moving at the speed of light, and you'll get a Neanderthalic understanding of how binary is used to store data on a computer. Of course, bits aren't actually 3D printed 1's and 0's, and instead have an on-again, off-again type relationship like your mother and me. Let's say these LEDs each represent 1 bit of storage, and they each require 5 volts to turn on. When the LED is off, that's 0 volts. When the LED is on, that's a bingo. So when the LEDs are lit up like this, the computer reads the memory block as on, off, which is equivalent to saying 101010 and reminds me of something I'm forgetting. Therefore, if I want to engage in robo-speak with the computer, I'm going to need some way to make my voice capable of outputting 5 volts. Now, if this kind of stuff interests you as a career, but ChatGPT writing code and AI creating videos makes you wonder what jobs will even exist in 5 to 10 years, look for the jobs that build and manage these technologies. Data scientists, engineers, analysts, they are only becoming more valuable. That's why I want to tell you about today's sponsor, 10, an online education platform that teaches careers of the future like data science, software engineering, and QA analytics. Careers that AI won't replace, but will actually make more essential. And here's the best part, no tech background is needed to study with 10. You learn everything from scratch. Why 10? They have a 100% money back guarantee if you don't find a job within 10 months of completing the program. You get real projects with actual companies for work experience, even unlimited externship opportunities after graduation. And if you like money, the average graduate salary is $70,000 per year. Plus, it's way more affordable than traditional education. No massive student loans, just flexible payment options starting at $270 a month. This isn't just taking courses, it's a real path into tech with actual guarantees and real-world experience. Sign up for a free career consultation with 10, learn more about the programs, and find your path into tech by clicking the link in my description below or scanning this QR code on the screen. Thanks to 10 for sponsoring this video. Now back to speaking with my little green friend. It turns out that microphones are pretty good at capturing my voice, outputting this angelic melody.
With arms wide open.
But I need my voice to output 5 volts, and this only measures my voice in bells of 10. So I got out my electron exposer, and after touching tips with this audio breakout cable, I surgically connected my mic to everything, and I should have seen this yellow line squiggle with V when I spoke into the mic.
Hello.
But instead, my patient flatlined the whole time, even though the mic was definitely working.
Is this working? Is this working?
So to accommodate for my lack of intellect, I bought this idiot-proof microphone, and it immediately proved just how proof it was.
Hello.
I could now control electricity with my voice.
Yeah, light.
And as a reminder, I need to be outputting a steady 5 volts with my voice to transmit a binary 1. It turns out though that much like my upload schedule, my voice has major consistency issues and frequently dips in voltage, almost like it's a wave made out of sound. So to fix this issue, I drew some straight lines and then some squiggly lines to make this circuit. And I have no clue how it works, but it should take my squiggly lines and make them into straight lines. And even though the real circuit was afflicted with whatever this virus is, to my surprise, it actually worked.
1. Boom.
The blue is my virgin wavy voice, and the yellow is the Chad straight line, which is exactly what I wanted to see. I could now speak binary on a computer's level, so I should just be able to start programming this Arduino, right?
Wrong!
Here's the list of things we have to solve before I can attempt a conversation. And since I'm feeling generous, I'll let you choose which issue we tackle first. 3? You said 2. Alright, that's the last time I'm letting you choose anything. Now believe it or not, computers are pretty slow, but they're also pretty fast and also just pretty. This baddie usually holds conversations around 115,000 bits per second, but the fastest I could manage was a measly 125 bits per second by spitting all over my electronics. So if I want to have a chance at, as the SIDS K, hizzing up the ruz, I'm gonna have to effectively give this thing brain damage, which I'm pretty sure I just gave you. My bad, playa. This butter dish looking thing is the clock, which determines how fast sand thinks, and it's truly an engineering marvel that they managed to fit the whole hour hand in this thing, am I right? This particular clock ticks at 16 million times a second, which is a bit too quick for me to get my timing right, so my original plan was to just steal the clock and replace it with one 16 million times slower, but I couldn't get the clock off, and there's also a whole host of issues with that idea that I'm not going to get into because I don't understand them. But that's okay, because I don't need the Wino to actually think at human speeds, I just need to persuade it to speak at human speeds, and I can do that by showing it my clock. Now usually the Arduino speaks through this USB cable to get programmed from the mothership, which requires high clock speeds, but there's actually a secret way to program these puppies using my own clock, and me so excited to tell you about it. SPI's the name, spittin' bits intermittently is the game, the P in bits is silent. SPI is a communication protocol that uses 3 wires, MOSI, MISO, and SC, with the first 2 being data lines. With this protocol, I can provide my own clock on the SC wire, which forces the Arduino to communicate in my smooth brain human timescale of 1's per second. And now that I've asserted my dominance, I can control the MOSI, aka master out slave in wire, and start sending bits of data with my beautifully square voice. The Dween will then read the data on the MOSI wire when the clock goes from low to high, which is why it was so important that my voice not be a wave. If I was trying to transmit a 1, but my voice wave was in a dip when the clock went off, the idiot Arduino would read it as a 0 even though I was clearly speaking. Okay, I can now theoretically program the Arduino with only my voice, but what do I even say? Yeah, you're gonna want to lock in for this part. Okay, I needed to find the actual 1's and 0's that get sent to this thing for programming, and at first I was just going to use this simple blinking LED code, but this is in English and I no longer partake in that silliness. My heart may be human, but my brain is now IBM. So I extracted the hex data file from my laptop that the human code compiles into for the computer to enjoy. Hex is just like binary, but now there's 16 options, go watch The Martian, and each one of these characters is 4 bits long, so that'd take 4 seconds for me to transmit each one. At over 2,500 characters, that'd take me over 10,000 seconds to transmit, or just under 3 hours. Okay, now I just wanted the LED to turn on, hold the blinking, but that only took off 500 characters, so I was still above 2 hours. Ain't gonna happen. I then learned that the Arduino compiler is data laundering by throwing a bunch of bits in my hex file that aren't actually needed, so bypassing that I was able to cut down my file to 404 characters or 27 minutes of slinging bits. It seems simple enough then to just start speaking this file to the Arduino, but that's when 653 pages of datasheet informing me just how stupid I am appeared. What's an instruction? Why are there fuses? That's way more than 3 wires. This isn't even a computer, but a microcontroller? Why is this Arduino butt naked on a breadboard? Does AI actually meow for you now? Why are there thousands of bits to program this when my file is only 140 bytes? Why is my Arduino inting and spamming FF even though this many FFs aren't even in the hex file and the datasheet clearly shows that it's unnecessary? What is going on? Why am I even trying to make this stupid video in the first place? But in my darkest hour, just when I was ready to pull the plug, my hero arrived to me in a 5-year-old forum post. Gollum Mustafa, my beloved. Gollum shared forbidden tribal knowledge of an even smaller file that turns on an LED, and with only 6 bytes of data that I would need to transmit, that cuts my time down to less than 5 minutes. I have no idea if this will actually work, but his profile picture is of wires, so I'm inclined to believe him, even if he did refer to turning on an LED as igniting the LED. I also did figure out the special instruction part of things to properly program this hog, but that's probably boring for most of you, so let's just cut to the part where my mic is ready, my binary file is ready, my LED is ready to be ignited, and I am ready to possibly be the first human ever to program an Arduino by physically speaking binary to it.
Frick. Already messed up.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that I don't actually have to speak when it's a 0, because 0 is no voltage. And to keep time with my clock, I made a teleprompter that tells me when to say my 1's. This wasn't as easy as it looked, and after multiple failed attempts, apparently the only message I got to the Arduino was to kill itself, because it stopped working entirely. So I replaced it with another Arduino, sans the Arduino part, and immediately failed because my voice circuit stopped working for no reason. I tried the usual fixes, replacing microphones, touching every component to know they were loved, and moving the entire circuit down the block a bit, but it turns out I just had the wrong shaped capacitor, and my circuit preferred a green square with a beige circle instead. Now that everything was working, it seemed that I was the only thing left to replace once it failed again.
Frickin' A, come on, baby.
And so I replaced myself with myself. If I were 230 pounds lighter, I lived near the equator, and I happened to be a laptop. But during RoboMe's attempt, I noticed that my clock had synchronizational dysfunction, so I replaced it with an eerily familiar clock generator and gave it one final attempt.
Okay, lock in, here we go.
288 bits, most of them 0's. That's all that I needed to transmit to truly speak with our robotic overlords on a fundamental level. But there was never any chance this would work. The Arduino runs at 16 million times a second, and at 1 bit a second, that's like us humans having a conversation with someone who speaks 1 syllable every 21 years. I also have to be perfect in my speech timing, because if I were off by less than half a second a single time, this whole attempt would be a failure. So really, did I ever have a chance at this working?
Okay. Oh! Yes! 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 I'm a robot. Yes! Yes!
Now, if you ain't calling me a truther and think I cheated somehow, the uncut video of me uploading the code is available for free on my Patreon for your viewing pleasure.
My gosh! I can speak to a computer! That's so freaking cool! Oh.